Welcome back to Nerd Mythology, where we're going to be jumping straight out of the books or the pages of the comic books of these characters we love so dear and near to our hearts. Today we got a good episode.
It's going to be good.
We're talking about none other than the Apocalypse.
Apocalypse himself. God.
So I told you about this, that I wanted to do a villain, essentially.
Yeah.
And I told you to do your homework and stuff, or learn up a little bit on him.
Right.
There's so much there's so many comic books out there that you can dive into and learn about a certain character.
Oh, yeah.
So we could probably spend the next 3 months researching this character. And, I feel like there'd still be more to have to learn.
Yeah, dude. Like when I was doing like the research and looking up stuff, dude, there was like pages on pages on pages. I was like, oh my goodness.
So honestly, I'm very happy that I chose this character. He's always been somewhat of a favorite of mine.
Yeah.
I remember seeing him in the X-Men, the old X-Men show in the 90s.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, who the hell is this dude?
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what? I want to dive deeper into him. And I'm glad I did, because I unstumbled upon a few things and stuff. And I think it's leading to where maybe the MCU might be throwing us some bones.
Man.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's the kind of stuff that I love, man. Like when it comes right out of the comic book pages, out of the old school and straight into the big screen. Oh yeah. Man, I love it.
So as I was looking into it, I wanted to know exactly who was the Apocalypse. How did he get his name?
Right.
So this is what I came up with. This is what I found out.
Yeah.
Was his name. So it's kind of like the old days of Spartan.
Yeah.
Like where they would discard the babies. So obviously
get rid of them.
He was born with the X gene, which that's what makes mutants.
Right.
And
absolutely.
when he was born with it, he's a little deformed. His skin was a different color.
Absolutely.
And his lips were blue.
Yep.
And pretty much they were like, this baby's no good.
Yeah, this baby's no
just
good. So
chuckle.
yeah, he was basically abandoned. Yeah.
So by doing that, the Sand People eventually came across him and realized that, oh crap, there's a baby just chilling out here.
Yeah.
Picked him up, and they were at first they were going to discard of him too. And I think his name was Ball. He was the leader of the Sandstorm people, and he pretty much was like, no, this is a survivor. This is a warrior.
Yep.
And so pretty much took care of him. And as he got to a teenager, he had to prove his worth and had to fight, to show he belongs to stay. Yeah. And so that's how he started off. His name was actually An-Sabanur, which translates to, I don't know if it's Egyptian or if it's Arabic, but it translates to the morning light.
The morning light, or like what I got out of it was the seven lights. So
something around there.
I'm like, okay, like translation,
we're roughly right on the same page.
Yeah, we're roughly somewhere in there. Yeah.
So with that, around that same time, there was a pharaoh. His name was Ramatut.
Ramatut, yeah.
Yep. And so he's actually a pharaoh from the future.
Yeah.
He came back and pretty much conquered all of Egypt.
Absolutely.
And became pretty much made it into a dynasty.
Yeah.
And it turned out that Ramatut was Kang.
Kang the Conqueror.
Kang the Conqueror.
Yep.
So being that Kang's from the future, he knew exactly who was in that timeline and what he'd eventually become.
Oh yeah.
By knowing that, they say, oh, so-and-so has been discovered. The Sand People discovered him. By then, he orders one of his generals to go kill him, pretty much, wiping out most of the Sandstorm people. The only ones that survived were Baal and Al-Sabanur, or An-Sabanur, and they pretty much took off to a cave where Baal showed him this ancient alien technology that was in the cave.
Okay.
And I think Baal ended up dying in the cave. But he showed him, hey, this is inside this cave is ancient alien technology. From there, An-Sabanur, which is going to be a hard name for me to keep repeating, took the alien technology and adapted it to himself.
Okay.
Little did he know that technology was celestial technology.
Yes.
So that pretty much enhanced all his powers he had.
Okay.
So when he left the cave, he vowed vengeance on the general, on whoever did this to his people. So little bit of time's passed. He ends up dating. I forgot who the chick was. He hooks up with her, and she finds out who he really is, and she's like, "Ugh, I want nothing to do with you." From that moment, and Sabanur was he vowed, "I'm done with all you people. My name is now Apocalypse."
Yeah,
that is how he got his name, Apocalypse,
that's
which
dope.
is the dopest name you could ever name yourself.
Oh yeah, that is dope. And like I think that was Marvel's depiction basically of like biblical events.
Yes.
You know, Apocalypse. And as you might know, Apocalypse also had the 4 horsemen.
He did.
He did.
He did.
So, you know, that's kind of where I dove into. I was like, what? He had horsemen too? So like, you know, like that's when I found
They
out.
showed it
like,
in the movie as well for the X-Men Apocalypse.
They did. Yeah, they did. And, you know, the horsemen of the Apocalypse was the main strike force of the mutant tyrant Apocalypse, right? Mm-hmm. So they followed their master's philosophy of social Darwinism, the survival of the fittest. They traditionally took the titles of death, famine, war, and pestilence. During their conversions, Apocalypse usually augmented their powers and or outfitted them with specially designed weapons and equipment using his advanced celestial technology.
So I imagine one of his wasn't one of his four horsemen, wasn't it the Angel? He lost his wings, and then he pretty much gave him the power, like they're metal wings now, just like in the movie.
So in the movie, yeah, like in the movie. So I actually, watched the movie, or like just before I came over here too. Angel was one of them, and he did take one of his wings basically and turned them into like metal wings, so like enhanced his power.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, oh yeah, this is good. This is good.
So did you know? So this is where my rabbit hole started to take me. Are you aware of some of Apocalypse's powers?
Some. I don't think I have all of them, but like when I saw the movie, he has like a lot of powers.
So they did show a few of his powers in the movie, which was cool.
Yeah.
So, and because it showed a lot of them in the cartoon as well. So I like that the movie adapted them as well.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Apocalypse is one of the few, or probably one of the only mutants who has more than one ability.
Yes.
So Apocalypse. So also Marvel translated in Sabanur, his original name, to not just the Morning Light. Their translation was the first one.
First mutant.
First. So he's the first mutant, the first ever with the X gene.
Okay.
So some of his powers, and this is just to go through a list of them. He at a certain age, he realized he stopped aging. He is essentially immortal. He will not age.
Yeah.
His armor pretty much makes him indestructible. He can shapeshift, so he can turn some body parts into anything he wants.
Yep.
He can change his size, like you saw in the movie where he just grew like 20 feet tall.
Oh yeah.
He could also fly. He can blast energy out of his hands.
Right.
He has super speed, telekinesis, and telepathy or telepathy. Sorry,
telepathy.
So we're like he can read your minds, and then he can also move stuff with his
he
mind.
can definitely
He's even stated he doesn't know how much other powers he has.
Yeah.
He's still discovering them to this day.
Yeah.
His powers are damn near endless.
So like in the depiction, right, the movie depiction is that every time that Apocalypse ran into a mutant that had like a specific ability, right, he would transfer his consciousness, like his whole consciousness and his
body, his
soul into this new mutant.
I'm glad you said that. So there's a reason why he has to do that.
Okay.
So the armor, the celestial armor that he has, there's it's a techno virus. So let's see. I wrote it down on exactly what it was called. It is let me find it. My apologies. It's pretty much it's a techno celestial virus.
Okay.
And what it does is what gives him the powers is also eating away at him.
Okay.
So every so often he has to transfer his body over, his consciousness and his mind over to another host.
Into a new host,
because what's giving him power is also killing him. So every once in a while, that's why he has to swap.
Okay, gotcha.
So even though he won't age, his body still will deteriorate over time.
Okay, gotcha.
So where the rabbit hole took me was, there's a guy named Nathaniel, and pretty much he's the young KANG.
Yeah, Nathaniel Richards,
Yep,
right?
he goes back in time and he sees a war happening between Ramatut and none other than Apocalypse.
Apocalypse, yep.
So this epic battle that is happening, and he's witnessing it all. And who other than he sees someone on the battlefield, and
Right.
none other than Moon Knight.
Yeah.
So in the comics, they only showed that Moon Knight wasn't discovered until I think I'd have to look back, but I want to say it was like the 50s. I could be wrong on
Okay.
that. It turns out that Moon Knight has taken many avatars over the years.
Okay.
And he was part of this great battle back in the day. So he ends up, Nathaniel pretty much chases down Moon Knight and is like, where are you going? He's trying to get more information about what's going on. And when Moon Knight's avatar decides to take off the mask, he discovers that it was a woman, and her name was, now this is where I'm going to end up butchering this. Her name was Ravonna, which was a love interest of Kang in the future.
Oh,
so
my God.
Yeah, the time. This is where it gets really crazy. I have to dive.
Okay.
It was diving off into so many different stories.
Yeah.
Because Ravonna ends up killing him multiple times, knowing that Kang is pretty much infinite. He's immortal.
Immortal,
There
basically.
are so many different timelines, so many different universes that he comes back. And I think all this is happening on Earth 6311.
Okay.
So ends up finding out who's the Moon Knight avatar is, and I was starting to look into it, and there's this crazy Easter egg that was in the Moon Knight show
No way.
that hints towards they had this plan. Because you understand that Kang Dynasty is happening, right?
Yeah.
The movie Kang Dynasty.
Absolutely.
Do you know they threw a jab out there to Kang way before? Even before, I think.
No way,
Because
dude.
so what came out first? Was it Loki, the show?
So
or
Loki
what-
came
was it
first,
Moon
yeah.
Knight?
Loki.
Okay.
Loki
So
came first.
I'm about to show you on the big screen here.
Okay.
The Easter egg.
Oh, man. So, yeah, I know her name is Ravonna Renslayer. I believe it's her last name also. And they did show her in the Loki TV series as well.
So do you remember the scene where they're on top of the rooftop and
Yeah.
he's chasing these guys down?
Yep.
I'm going to stop it at 45 seconds.
Okay.
Guess I'm gonna have to talk to you instead.
You're too late.
Hopefully
You're never gonna
All right,
find
let's check it out.
Really? Oh wow. Oh, what are we dancing? We fighting? What
So
are we doing?
I'm going to unpause it. Look at the back of this kid's jacket. What's on?
Okay.
Can you... Oh, man. Did you see it?
Kind of saw it. It looks like an Egyptian god. Like,
Right there.
right there. What is that? What?
That is Ramatut.
That is Ramatut?
That's Ramatut. They threw an Easter egg on there and no one caught it.
No way.
So
dude.
there was actually another guy who did a video on this, and he got confirmation that is Ramatut on his back. That is a symbol of Ramatut. That is Kang the Conqueror, Ramatut the Pharaoh.
No way, dude.
Yep. So
That's insane.
They are saying that this is possibly how they're going to introduce the X-Men into the MCU, because they're going to show Kang Dynasty and somehow introduce Apocalypse, because Apocalypse is so powerful that he actually beat Kang the first time. The second time, Kang beat Apocalypse. This is from what I'm getting, because
Right.
with Kang with prep time is pretty much unbeatable.
Oh, yeah.
But
Absolutely.
raw power, Apocalypse was taking it all the way.
Oh, my
All
God.
the way. So that is a confirmation. That is an actual confirmation.
That's
that
insane, dude.
I guess the guy has connections that with people that worked on the Moon Knight.
Right.
They said that 100%
That is it.
That is it. That is Ramatut right there on the back of that guy's jacket. So if you guys are listening to the podcast and you guys want to see exactly what we're looking at, look up the rooftop scene where Moon Knight's avatar is fighting three thugs where they just stabbed a guy, and the guy will be wearing a blue jean jacket.
Right.
Try to pause it right when he's about to stab him. You'll see a pharaoh, pretty much a pharaoh's head on the back of his jacket. So you see where it's kind of purple on the bottom.
Yeah, it's purple on the bottom down. That's the colors of Kang. Yeah,
That's Kang.
basically. Oh man,
That's Kang.
That's so dope. I missed that completely too when I watched the show. I was like,
No one knew.
oh
no
my
one
god,
knew.
that's insane, dude. That's awesome. So like, it's funny that you mentioned, right, because you know the whole fight with Kang and Apocalypse. So like, I have a little bit of a tidbit here that I looked up, and so it was called the survival of the fittest. So as Nur grew, he surpassed the other tribesmen in intelligence and strength, right? Everyone in the tribe except for Baal hated and feared Nur for his inhuman looks and great abilities. Nur did not understand their fear, but hardened his heart against it. Moreover, Nur believed in the principle that Baal and the tribe lived by, and only fittest, toughest, most ruthless, and pitiless, tested by hardship, and should survive. At this time, Egypt was ruled by Pharaoh Rama-Tut, right? So it goes into what you were saying, right? On the day of his tribal rite of passage into manhood, the 17-year-old Nur killed 3 armed warriors of the tribe using only his bare hands, and Baal explained to him that Rama-Tut was no god, as most believed, but a man who had arrived in a sphinx. Baal brought the young Nur to a sacred cave, whose entrance became blocked by a cave-in, trapped them underground. After a week of wandering without food or water, they found the remnants of Rama-Tut's time ship.
No.
There it is. Within an underground Egyptian tomb, Baal told Nur that he believed him to be a conqueror whose coming was foretold in ancient prophecies, and that Nur was destined to overthrow Rama-Tut. After Baal died from lack of nourishment, Nur, whose mutant physiology kept him alive, vowed to take vengeance on Rama-Tut and claim his destiny. 4 weeks later, Nur finally made his way back to the surface and was found by Logos, the grand vizier of Rama-Tut, who gave him water and hid him as a slave. Nur was determined to kill both Rama-Tut and his warlord, Ozymandias, for their part in Baal's death. So yeah.
Damn.
Oh man.
So I'm stoked. The fact that we saw that Easter egg, you know that Kang Dynasty is going to be coming up. They're trying to add the X-Men into it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So there's a few. As I started digging deeper into the rabbit hole of this, there was a few other characters that popped up.
Yeah.
Obviously, if I was to veer right into these storylines, the few people that helped stop Rama-Tut were the Fantastic Four, Reed Richards specifically, and they also came across Victor Von Doom. So another thing is Nathaniel, the young Kang, who eventually went back in time and became Iron Lad.
Yeah.
So they're saying he's a long related, distant relative of Reed Richards and possibly Victor Von Doom.
So Nathaniel Richards basically is Kang the Conqueror, correct?
Who became, I think, Iron Lad.
He is a distant relative of Reed Richards. So in the far future, right? He's like a long, I
think 31st century, something about that.
Exactly, yeah. So basically the idea is that Iron Lad is a variant of Kang. So he's not the same Kang. It's just that in one of his travels, Kang got another Kang apprentice, basically, right?
Yeah.
And when they traveled back, this Nathaniel Richards saw what the Avengers were doing and like the good that they were doing in the world and everything like that, and he decided to help when there was no Iron Man. So he decided to become Iron Lad.
Okay, that clears up some story for me because I was a little confused on that.
Yeah, so he decided to become Iron Lad, basically taking over Iron Man's kind of like mantle because there was no Iron Man.
Okay.
So he took over, and then he joined the Young Avengers to help fight the evil Kang.
Man, I'm so stoked, man. I'm so stoked. You know, like I said, I was very happy that I chose this character to kind of go over.
Yeah.
And now that I'm seeing just how much more he had involvement, like this was essentially one of the first big battles.
Oh yeah.
This was, in my opinion, the Avengers. The end game. This is the first event.
Oh yeah.
So
I'm ready. I'm
little did we
stoked.
know all the ancient gods were fighting and
Oh,
stuff.
for sure.
And who be at the helm of it all but Kang and Apocalypse.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, dope. Woo. I'm about to get the Apocalypse statue, man.
Yeah,
the big
put that
one.
statue
Have it right here as, as the table piece.
Oh yeah, dude. But like it's funny because so my rabbit hole, right, when I was looking it up, took me a whole different way. I didn't dive too deep into it because if not, yeah, we would have gone over time.
Yeah.
So, you know, obviously, like I mentioned earlier, the 4 horsemen, right? So the first horsemen were the sons and daughters of Apocalypse himself, right? Apocalypse and Genesis from the ancient mutant of Okara. So if you kind of like rearrange the word Okara, it kind of turns into Krakoa, and that's the island where all the mutants live. Yeah, so it's kind of weird how they did that, but yeah. Okay. So the land of
I don't know if that was
Okara,
purpose, like or intentional.
it probably was. You know, like Marvel was probably running out of names to, so they're like, yeah, that works. But when the 4 children were born, their maternal aunt Iska the Unbeaten forged the Scarab a sword in 4 parts to celebrate their births. When Okara was split by a force wielding the Twilight Sword, Apocalypse and his first horsemen fought the invaders. In the end, they were responsible for the sealing of the chasm. The horsemen were sealed on the other side of the chasm alongside their mother in Araco to the sorrow of Krakoa. So, yeah, dude, I'm telling you, they just started running out of names. And
Yeah.
But so you see, so we have 4 horsemen, right? Did you know that later when Apocalypse needed another horseman, one of his horsemen was the Hulk?
Shut up. Are you serious?
Oh, yeah. Dead serious.
Oh, man.
So, Hulk, the horseman of war. So he was the
God of
horseman.
war.
Yeah. The Hulk and Bruce Banner were split into 2 separate beings by Onslaught. Hulk now drew upon energy derived from Franklin's pocket universe. So Franklin's, right? Apocalypse recruited the Hulk to become his horseman, War, to defeat the Celestials. He sent the Hulk against the New World Order. The New World Order in turn set the Juggernaut and Absorbing Man against him. The Hulk defeated them both. Hulk soon came to his senses after injuring Rick Jones. If you don't know who Rick Jones is, Rick Jones was basically his sidekick, the Hulk's sidekick.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So he came to his senses after injuring Rick Jones. This was still a win for Apocalypse as it allowed him to test his new device. He activated the self-destruct mechanism on the Sword of War, destroying their headquarters. After a battle with the X-Men in their mansion, Hulk was discovered by Apocalypse and became his second incarnation of War, right? Apocalypse set him against the Juggernaut to test his strength. Hulk was able to knock back Juggernaut with the huge celestial energy boost that Apocalypse had given him.
Because Apocalypse pretty much can boost any other
anybody. Yeah, exactly.
So can you imagine a rage fit, unstoppable creature already getting another boost?
Oh, dude. Oh, my God. I can't even imagine. But so he was also able to best the Absorbing Man, but came to his senses when he injured his friend Rick Jones. Just kind of reiterating on that. You know who the other horseman was?
No, so I remember in the show, I haven't seen any comics for it, but in the show, the 90s show, he recruited Rogue.
What?
Because she has the ability to absorb anyone else's powers. So what he was doing was he pretty much had her go out. He needed more power to to
oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
to resurrect. So she was going out taking all these other mutants' powers and giving it to him.
No way, dude.
Yeah,
That's insane.
So that's what I remember.
So that's one of them. But the other horseman, for her second team of horsemen, Apocalypse had Wolverine abducted, replacing him with a Skrull imposter to prevent his absence being noted, and pitched him in battle against Sabretooth. The winner of the battle, Wolverine, became his horseman of death.
That's freaking sick.
Oh, dude, I'm telling you, when I saw that, I was like, oh my
Damn,
God.
that's a lineup.
So Wolverine as Death battled the X-Men and killed the imposter Wolverine. Apocalypse then turned Deathbird into his second horseman. War. Caliban was once again chosen to be one of the Apocalypse horsemen, this time becoming Pestilence. Pestilence and War fought X-Force and captured Cable. In battle against the X-Men, Death was unmasked and revealed to be Wolverine. I saw that, and I was like, good night. This guy's already an animal, just a beast, and now you're giving him the powers of death. Just giving him a little, like, here you go, buddy. Bam. Go ahead. Go wild. Go crazy. But, yeah, that's where I kind of stopped my my rabbit hole, because it was going far into it. I was like,
hands down, like, I'm going to revisit Apocalypse, especially... Now I got speculations that he might be making another appearance. Obviously, so the thing is, right? We talked about this on a previous podcast,
right?
Or an episode about how Kevin Feige, there was a rumor to where he was going to bring back every single character from in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, or whoever played it, because the time's coming up to where the agreements for X-Men couldn't be in any new MCU, but now they can. Yep. So if that's the case, if Kang Dynasty is happening, then why can't you bring Apocalypse back? That's how you introduce the X-Men into the MCU.
Oh, absolutely. Like, the only thing that I see as an issue now, right, like I was telling you earlier, is that if they do bring every single character back, and they do bring Apocalypse was played by Oscar Isaac,
who also played
Moon Knight. Which is, I think, is a pretty clever Easter egg, if you ask me, because it's like,
but you would never
Apocalypse
know with all that
came
makeup
from ancient Egypt, right? And then you have Oscar Isaac right now playing Moon Knight, that is an Egyptian god, basically.
Who was also there on the battle.
Yeah.
At the very beginning.
Exactly. So it's like, how do you plan on cleaning this up, Marvel?
So we're coming up to time here, but I'm going to leave it on this note. I pulled this straight out of the comic. This was, and I'm going to quote it because I thought it was freaking awesome. So this is what happened when Nathaniel went back and he heard of how Kang became the Pharaoh. Okay. And I quote, "Within a week, the Pharaoh had conquered all the lands of Egypt. The fourth dynasty ended, and so began the dynasty of Kang."
Oh, there it is. There it is. Come on, Phase 6. Come on.
On that note, guys, we appreciate you guys listening. If you guys have stayed with us this far, thank you guys for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already. Leave a like button if you like the content of what we've been doing. We'll keep banging out more characters if that's what you guys want to hear. Oh, yeah. And give us a good rating on the podcast, whatever you're listening to, whatever platform.
Absolutely.
Till next time, guys.
Till next time.
Peace.
Peace.